Hello, hello. It's me, Dr. Catherine Toomer. Mm, uh-oh, I got that's embarrassing. I ate some beans right before coming on, and I got something caught in my tooth. Okay, so as you can see, I am a little bit discombobulated today, but that's all right. Um, and I just want to welcome you right in. I'm Dr. Catherine Toomer. I am a family medicine physician and founder of Your Light Wellness and Weight Care Centers, which is a group of physicians, very dedicated physicians, to help people telemedicine, anywhere in the country to get healthy with weight care. And so, welcome today. Um, so, what I wanted to talk about was health, wellness, and weight and easy changes for big impact. And the reason why this is so important, I keep getting asked questions over and over again. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do here? What should I do there? And quite frankly, it doesn't take a lot to feel better if you know exactly what to do or if you hit many birds with one stone. And the reason that's the case is that often what happens when we are trying to, make changes, we do too much. Or what we do is we do too much all at once instead of in increments. And anytime you want to understand how to make a difference for yourself, you simply have to think biopsychosocial. That's it. Because every single thing that we do, everything we experience has a biological cause and effect, a psychological cause and effect, and a social cause and effect. And so understanding how to identify what those things are is actually very easy. And and so it doesn't take a lot. Now, one of the number one, and you can put in the chat in the comments what you think this is. The number one thing that people complain about the most, apart from weight changes, of course, weight gain and weight loss, the number one thing is tiredness, fatigue. And as I've said many times, there is a tired that requires sleep, there is a tired that requires rest, and there is a tired that requires peace. And so it really just in trying not to be tired, you have to determine which is causing the biggest issue. Maybe it's one, maybe it's all. Maybe it's one then causing the others. And so when you do anything that helps alleviate fatigue, helps alleviate tiredness, automatically affects your health, affects your wellness, and will affect your weight. And so if there's just one thing to focus on, that would be it. Because all the rest falls into place when you're not tired, when you're not fatigued. So before we get started, I want you just to say hello, tell me where you're from. And for those who are just tuning in, this is the Dr. Toomer Talks Show. And I am Dr. Catherine Toomer. I'm a family medicine community health physician. And I am here to talk about all things health, wellness, and weight related. And so ask your questions at the end. I'll have a time for you to ask your questions, start gathering them now. Or you can email me at help@drtoomer.com. That's help@drtoomer.com. And you can ask me questions there and I'll read them out the next time I come on. So, which is every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So, when it comes to doing things that help your health, your wellness, and your weight, it's very simple. So, dealing with the biological causes of fatigue. The number one biological cause of fatigue is dehydration. And the easiest way to not be dehydrated is to simply drink something, any fluid, preferably not alcohol, of course, any fluid before putting anything else in your mouth. You don't have to count cups, you don't have to count ounces. Just know that every time you eat something, drink some water. Drink a glass of water before you eat. Drink a glass of water before you drink a soda. Drink a glass of water before you put gum in your mouth. Drink a glass of water before you do anything. Drink a glass of water with lemon in it when you first wake up in the morning. Drink a glass of water before going to bed. Now, if you're someone who has difficulty getting good sleep because you're up all night going to the bathroom, then you limit your water to about 3 to 4 hours before you normally go to bed so that you're not up all night and it disrupts your sleep. So that's the biology, in that it causes dehydration, causes issues. And Marcia asks, how about a cup of tea? It depends on the type of tea. Now, if you drink tea later in the evening, and if it's green tea or black tea, it has caffeine, so it's going to keep you awake and disrupt your sleep. If it is a some type of herbal tea, not necessarily, especially chamomile, which puts you to sleep, gives you good sleep, and there's other types of teas that can help with digestion, like mint and spearmint, peppermint. There's sleep that helps with just feeling more relaxed, like lavender teas, or and then there's some that boost your immunity, like echinacea and elderberry. So it really just depends on the type of tea. But if you're not trying to stay awake, then drinking black tea or green tea may not be the best thing close to bedtime. But otherwise, drinking fluids, stopping at around 7 o'clock or so, if you know you go to bed around 11 or 12, or even earlier, but just drink throughout the day, and you tie your glass of water to other activities so you don't have to think about it. So just drink a glass of water before putting anything else in your mouth. That will do two things. One, biologically, it will hydrate you and make you less tired. Two, it will be less burdensome to try and figure out. It's not as much of an issue trying to get your water in. And three, it actually helps with your digestion. It helps with your weight, because what it does is it fills your stomach, so you don't eat as much usually. The other is that it helps with the digestion of food, and that means your food gets broken down and the nutrients from the food gets absorbed better. The reason that's so important is because those are the signals to your brain that you've eaten. Those are the signals to your brain to what to do next. So when those nutrients are absorbed and the brain gets that message, then you're less likely to eat and crave things to try and fill the void that your brain thinks you have when really you don't. So, biology. And so, like I said, fatigue is the number one complaint, the number one wellness issue that I hear most. And dehydration biologically is the most common reason. Now, there are other reasons, like hormonal reasons. There are, like thyroid issues. And then there's other hormonal issues like insulin or high blood sugar, which is, caused by eating carbohydrates, which brings me to my next point. Biologically, the next best thing you can do to help with your fatigue is to maximize your protein and healthy fats. If you have a fiber, protein, and healthy fat forward diet, then your blood sugars will stay on an even keel. It's that fluctuation of blood sugars, that sugar spike, and that is caused by any carbohydrates that you eat. So the more protein and healthy fats you eat, the less likely you are to have that spike in blood sugar. And if you don't have that spike in blood sugar, you're less likely to be tired. So, number one, drink water before putting anything else in your mouth. Stay hydrated. Number two, eating lots of protein and fewer carbs, so that percentage-wise, doesn't have to be fewer carbs necessarily, just as long as you eat more protein and fiber. And then the other thing is moving. Even if it's just walking for 20 minutes after a meal. And I know it's like that. I said it was easy. Well, it's more simple than easy, I guess. But, just moving. You can put on a song and dance. You can march in place. You don't have to go outside, especially this time of year when it's very cold in some places. And so, or you can just walk in a circle. But the main thing, or just don't sit down. Stand up after eating and move. So that is the biology, the biopsychosocial, the biology of the biopsychosocial. And that's just, I'm going to keep it simple. So when it comes to the psychology of fatigue, like I said, there's tired that requires sleep, there's tired that requires rest, and there's tired that requires peace. The psychology, the cycle of the biopsychosocial is peace. You want to seek peace. And the way you seek peace is to counter the things that take you away from that peace. And so mindfulness, meditation, sitting quietly, doing nothing, staying off social media just for a little while, not watching flickering of the TV, and just sitting in a nice, calm place and just letting yourself be. Just be. You'd be surprised if you take 10 to 15 minutes to yourself every day, that what it does, one, for your hormonal levels, which are what makes you tired, what it does for your mood. The other thing that you can do during that 15 minutes is simply write down the things that you appreciate. Write down the things that you're grateful for. Just take 5, 10, 15 minutes a day to write down the things that you are grateful for. That's called gratitude journaling. And gratitude journaling helps remove the fatigue that requires peace. And so, biopsychosocial, the psychology is to give yourself some peace. And so just want to say hello to a few people who signed on. Thank you, Marcia, for coming from Barbados, Teresa, and Denise from Pennsylvania. So, and then there's many of you watching that I can't see your comments, but I will later. So again, there's fatigue that requires rest. There's fatigue that requires sleep, fatigue that requires rest, and fatigue that requires peace, because that's the number one thing that removes people from their health, their wellness, and affects their weight is their tiredness. And so the psychology, the way to create a peaceful, just to feel peaceful, is to focus on the things that make you joyful, focus on the things that make you smile, things that you're grateful for. So just gratitude journaling. It's very simple. Just every day, write down 10 things that you're grateful for from that day. It can be, I woke up this morning. I smiled at myself in the mirror. I made a healthy dinner. I usually you want it to be positive, not things you didn't do. But, if you're grateful for the things that you didn't do, then, you can write those things down. And then there's the social. That's usually the fatigue that, excuse me, requires rest. And what that means is rest doesn't necessarily mean sitting and doing nothing. It means doing something you enjoy, doing something that's joyful. And when it comes to social, it could be something as simple as giving someone a hug. It could be telling someone you love them. It could be making that phone call to a friend or family member, but just being very intentional. And usually you want it to be a friend, family, or some activity that makes you feel good. And so again, biopsychosocial, sleep, rest, and peace. Now, when it comes to sleep, there are a few things that can be helpful. And I know that sleep, when you have difficulty sleeping, you have to know the cause. It's not sleep in and of itself is not the thing that makes you tired. It's what's causing you not to sleep or have restful sleep that will make you tired. Is it because of carrying around too much fat and having sleep apnea? Is it from having a light on in your bedroom when you're starting to fall asleep? That will disrupt your hormones, disrupt your ability to go into restful sleep. Is it because you're looking at your phone before falling asleep? Not having a routine. Having any kind of routine before bed kind of triggers your brain to say, oh, it's time to wind down, time to go to sleep. So if you start doing the same thing every day right before getting into the bed, and I don't mean flipping through your phone, but something that's calming and something that's routine, even rhythmic, like brushing your teeth, washing your face. But if you do it right before, instead of just if you connect sleep to some activity, that activity will trigger sleep. It's very simple, and it's just a matter of being intentional and doing that. And then the other is trying to extend the amount of time you sleep. So if you are not getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, then you can start adding on 10 minutes before, then add another 10 minutes, then add another 10 minutes. Because trying to go to bed an hour before when you used to will probably just leave you laying in bed for that hour. But if you start doing it in small increments, 10-minute increments, then you're more likely to adjust to that time and then get sleep. So, just going to repeat some things: health, wellness, and weight. Easy changes for big impact. And most of those changes are to address fatigue, to address tiredness. And so that means eating enough calories and making sure those calories are protein and fiber, drinking enough water so you're not dehydrated. So tying water to another activity, drinking water before you eat, drinking water or before putting anything else in your mouth, and drinking fluids, because it doesn't always have to be water, but still that's the best fluid, but it can be any fluid. As long as it's not fruit juice. You just put that in there, because fruit juice really is just sugar with vitamins attached. And so the whole point is to be hydrated, but also to stop sugar spikes. And when you stop sugar spikes, you stop fat production. And when you stop fat production, then that prevents the things that disrupt your sleep, like sleep apnea, and other things. So if you have any questions, now's the time to ask me. I know that I went through this rather quickly, and I didn't want to throw a lot of information at you. I just wanted you to have some usable steps that you can do so that you can start feeling better. The other, I didn't repeat, was daily journaling, gratitude journaling. Just write down 10 things that you're grateful for every single day. Marcia says, someone introduced me to hibiscus and it has a good taste, so I've been drinking that. Hibiscus is good. It's actually a very relaxing. It has some antioxidant, so some good immunity properties. So if you like it, that's fine. Most people, though, when they have an issue with teas, it's not the tea itself. It's usually the honey that they put in it. And the honey, sometimes our bodies react to honey just like sugar. So you have to be very careful with honey, but adding lemon does help. Peace, rest, sleep. That's right. So any questions at all? If you don't have questions now, you can always write questions later. You can send them to me at help@drtoomer.com. And again, if you can go to my website, drtoomer.com. And if you're interested in learning more about what I do, or you want a consultation and determine what it is that you can do for you to help improve your health and your wellness, and perhaps have some, your weight health, you can also go to my website and make a consultation appointment with me. And I will do an assessment, and then we'll talk about the different things that you can do specifically for you that would be most impactful. Because it's not enough to just get a list of things. It has to be things that fit into your life, things that you can do now and when you're 90. Otherwise, they fall off. All right. Well, if there aren't any questions, um, just give me comments. Tell me comments. You can go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Follow me or follow me on Facebook. And under the video, if you have questions later, just put them in, and um, and I'll answer them. Denise asked, "Does perimenopause affect your sleep?" Absolutely. Usually, it's the progesterone. So if you are having difficulty sleeping from menopause, particularly insomnia, replacing your progesterone usually helps. Estrogen does other things, but progesterone definitely helps with the insomnia that we see. I just said I watch and learn a lot from your shorts as well. Well, thank you. I hope these are helpful. I always love to, as you know, I love to teach and give information, but I really, really prefer to know what information you want to know. And I know I've talked a lot about menopause. That seems to come up quite a bit. But if there's other things that you want to, you want more information on, or you're figuring out things that you're trying to figure out how to improve in your health and wellness, then write to me, ask me. I'm happy to respond. All right. Well, I came in a little bit late today and was unable to get my intro and extra out. So I'm just going to say good night. Thank you for coming, and see you next Tuesday for Dr. Toomer Talks Show, and at live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And I will see you next week at 6 p.m. sharp. Good night.